Welcome back. In this session we will discuss how to configure our router. So we can change the Wi-Fi's password, we can change the router's password, or we can block certain users from accessing our router. So we can do many things. So we will get started. So we can do all these. So the first thing we have to do is we have to enter the command prompt. So before entering into command prompt, just check if your device is connected to the same router's Wi-Fi. So only if you connect it to the same router's Wi-Fi, you will get the default gateway with which you can do all these. So once you enter the command prompt, just type ipconfig in your command prompt and you will get a page like this where you will get also the default gateway. So this is our IPv4's default gateway. Just copy this and paste it in your browser. It can be Mozilla Firefox or Mozilla Firefox Chrome or whatever. Just go to your browser and paste it here and hit enter. So when you hit enter, you will get a page like this where it will ask for your username and password. This is not your Wi-Fi's username and password, it's your router's username and password. So in order to know your router's username and password, just lift your router. Most probably all the routers will have its username and password at the back side of its router. So just check with it and enter your username and password. If not, just Google your router's model and just Google, let's say you are using Hathway, just Google Hathway router username and password. Most probably you will get your username and password. Type it here and hit enter. So once you hit enter, it will show some basic details of your router, under which now I'm going into this network tab. So under this network tab, I'm getting inside WLAN, which is wireless local area network. So this is my router. This is the name of my router, right? Hathway. So the same Hathway is here, right? This SSID name is nothing but your router's, that is your Wi-Fi's name. By changing this Hathway, the name will be changed. That is your Wi-Fi's name will also be changed. And what is this 32? Maximum clients is nothing but the number of devices. That is 32, to the max 32 devices can be connected to my Wi-Fi. So if I restrict this, let's say I'm editing this to 5, so at a time only 5 devices can be connected. So maybe a sixth person is coming, he has to wait until a device is disconnected. Only if a device is disconnected, he will be able to get into my network. So the next one is I'm getting into security, under which this WPA passphrase is my password for my Wi-Fi. So if I click on this checkbox, so this Hathway 123 is my password. So I can change my password here. Just by editing this, my password will be my Wi-Fi's password will be changed. Also here is a drop down which represents the security level. Let's say I'm clicking on this open system. That's all, my Wi-Fi will be open, that is anyone can access without a password, or I can change the level of security over here. The next thing is I'm getting into this associated devices. So these are all the devices which are currently connected to my Wi-Fi. So I have these many devices currently connected, and the main thing here is I can get the MAC address of each and every device. So these are all the devices which are connected. It can be laptop or mobile or whatever. So these are all the devices, and these are all the IP address which are given by my router. We will be discussing that. And here also we have this transfer rate, that is these many kilobits are transferred and these many RX represent the received kilobytes. Okay, now let us get into this access control list. Okay, so let's say here we will be having actually two modes, which is block and permit. I have two modes, block and permit. Okay, let's say I'm looking at the devices logged into my router, and I see that this MAC address which is starting with this 78 is not my device. Let's say I suspect that someone else has come into my network. So what I can do here is I can just copy this MAC address and paste it over here. I can just paste that MAC address over here, and if I click on, I have to click on this block in order to block that person, and if I click on this add, that device will be added here. So unless you click on this delete, that device will never be able to enter into your router or your Wi-Fi. Same as that, there is another option called permit. So let's say I have some 5 devices, I use only 5 devices, and I think other than this 5 devices no one should come into my network. So at that time the same process, what I can do is I can click on this permit and add all my MAC address. Let's say my mobile MAC address, my tablet's MAC address, I can add everything and keep it. So other than that 5 address, no one else no other people can come inside. Okay, now under this LAN tab, I'm clicking on this DHCP server. We already know that DHCP server is something which gives us IP address, right? IP address or default gateway, subnet mask or whatever, it automatically assigns us, right? So here the DHCP start IP address, LAN IP address will always be 1.1. This will be the default gateway, so let's leave that. But here we have something called DHCP start IP address, which starts with .2. The final digit is .2. The first 3 digits will always be same. I'll show you again. Show you the list of devices. So under this associated devices, these are all the devices associated, right? That is, these are all the devices which are connected to my network, right? But there is something common in this IP address. That is, the first 3 digits will always be the same: 192.168 and 1. So all these devices will have the same address for the first 3 digits, and the final digit will alone vary. Okay, now let's look at this. Because the start IP address here is 2 and the end IP address here is 254. So each device will get an IP address between this 2 and 254. So let's say I'm editing this. Let's say I'm making this as 5. So there is only 4 IP, right? 2, 3, 4 and 5. There are only 4 IP address left. So if I make it 5, then what will happen is, this device cannot come in because it has assigned 32. That is, what will happen basically is only 4 devices will be able to connect, and all the devices will have an IP within 2, 3, 4 or 5, because my end IP is 5, right? Let's say I have edited this to 5. So there are I have restricted to only 4 IP address. So other than that 4 IP address, no other IP can be given to any other device. Okay, the next thing is administration tab. Under this, I'm clicking on this user management. So this is the username and password for my router, not the Wi-Fi, router. Usually this default username and password, that is, each and every router will have a default username and password, right? Only people like you and me know how to change it. So we have to go to this username and change this. We can change this username and enter the old password and the new password in order to make it more secure, because this can be easily hacked by anyone. We will be discussing about that also. So this is an important step. We have to, in order to make our router secure, we have to change our username and password. Okay, this tab is to reboot and restore our old informations. Okay, so this default configuration management is a very important thing, because there will be 2 options. One is backup configuration and the other one is restore configuration. So this backup configuration, okay, first let me tell how to backup your router. Just go to this default configuration management and click on this backup configuration. When you click on this, what will happen is a file will be downloaded with all the informations, that is your current Wi-Fi password and everything will be downloaded when you click on this backup configuration. So you can just save it somewhere safe. And when you click on this choose file, so why do we backup this? Let's say our router has been reset. So all our information will actually go. There is actually a button at the back of our router. So when we press that for some long time, all the settings will be reset. So once our router is reset, all the information, even if we secure it, all the information will go off. It will be erased off. So what happens is, once our router is reset, our ISP, that is AT&T, Airtel or whatever, they will stop the internet connection to our router. They will suspect that someone has hacked our router and they will stop the internet connection. So at that time, what we have to do is, we have to click on this choose file, and we have to choose the file which we have already backed up. So only when we do that, we can get back our internet connection, because if not, what we have to do is we have to call that ISP and tell them that we are the users. We have to make sure that no one has hacked and it is our network only. So for that we have to back, if in case our router is reset, it's a quite long process to make to send an email or to make a call and get it back. So at that time, just click on this choose file and choose that file and click on this restore configuration, and you will get your internet back. So that's all with this video. We'll meet again.